grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worry on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny, sunny, sunny side of the street. Hi, welcome to another Sunny Side of the Street. I'm your host, Todd Gross, a clinical psychologist and director of Adams Street Associates in Newton. And for over 18 years, we've been doing shows where we look at the side of human nature that really doesn't get talked about much in the media. People helping other people, organizations helping people, people overcoming odds. And what about a story where we look at a young person, somebody who's of the future generation coming up, who's already doing some wonderful things helping other people? Well, today, with that story, we're lucky enough to have here right with us in the studio. First to my left, Liam Hannon. How you doing, Liam?
Hi, I'm good.
Thank you for coming. And his dad, Scott. How you doing, Scott?
How you doing today?
Great. This is going to be a lot of fun, everybody. This story is really amazing. Liam, first, just so people who are watching will know, you're 12 years old, right? And in sixth grade. Just a little bit, what are the normal things you do for fun, things you like to do, before we talk about the special stuff you've been doing recently? What do you do just for fun?
I like to read, act, sing, like to hang out with my friends.
All that sounds like fun, and that's great. What I'd like you to do first, if you don't mind, is tell us how the idea of Liam's Lunches of Love got started in the first place, how you created, what led to the creation of this program we're going to talk about.
So my school district does a reading program every year.
Right.
And the year that I started, it was Build a Better World. And I knew I wanted to do something over the summer about that, or read books about it.
Okay.
And then I asked my dad if I could stay home from summer camp, and he said I had to do something productive.
Okay.
So we were looking on the internet for like productive things to do.
Yeah.
And we came across this website called Brain Chase. And Brain Chase is a treasure hunt website where you have to do academic challenges to move forward.
Got it. Okay.
And so I picked math, typing, and service. For the first week of service, the website said, do something for people experiencing homelessness. And my dad thought, why don't we like get a food truck and feed people? And I was like, there are people right outside of our house. Why
You
don't
live
we
in
make them
Central
lunch?
Square, right, in Cambridge? Yeah.
People right outside of our house were experiencing homelessness, so I thought, why don't we make them lunch?
Excellent. So that's how it got started. And I know it started small. Can you say a little bit about what you did the very first time?
So the first time we were trying to think of like what type of food to make, and we thought, well, peanut butter and jelly is easy. We can put like fruit in there, a snack,
Right.
water, and then we made 20 lunches. We went outside, gave about like half of them away, and then we went up to Harvard Square
Okay.
and gave the rest away.
Did it go fast?
Yeah, it was like really fast. And then we came back and I asked my dad, could we do it again? And he said, why?
You liked it.
Yeah, he asked me why, and I said, well, it's because people were really nice, and
Yeah.
I like want to be nice to them again.
That's very basic and very important. And say a little more, what kind of responses did you start to get when you would, offer these lunches to people? I'm curious. How would they react?
Well, they sort of, at first I was like, well, they might not like be happy, but
Yeah.
When I gave it to them, they wanted to talk. They were really nice. Like, they're human beings, so.
Very important point. And you were learning that very fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. And when you started to get reactions and stuff, what kind of things did you start learning about these people, in addition to what you said there, that they're human beings, in terms of things they need?
Well, most people asked for like socks because like they have to take care of their feet.
Absolutely.
People asked for like this winter and the other winters that we've gone through. They've asked for like hats and gloves and scarves.
Very practical
and we
stuff.
try to get it for them as best we can.
Yeah.
And then like we just try to get stuff that people need.
How about the food? How did your thinking change over time about what kind of food you wanted
Yeah,
to?
like peanut butter and jelly wasn't like the best that we could do, so we
Sure.
were thinking like what else could we do? And it was winter, so we're like, why don't we make them something hot?
Nice idea.
So I think we made mac and cheese or pasta.
Oh, it's always good. Comfort food.
Yeah. So like it was cold out, so it probably was like really nice to have something
Yeah.
hot.
Now, another thing I wanted to ask you that I just love about what you did, how did the idea come of writing things on the lunch bags? And tell the audience a little bit what kind of stuff you were writing, which I think was also very special.
Well, if it's just a paper bag, they might throw it away, but like it has a nice message on it, so they could keep it. They could it could inspire them to do something nice.
Yes.
They could give it to someone. It's like it just seemed like a better way to use just a plain paper bag.
I think that was really, really smart. How about involvement as this thing developed a little bit, how about involvement with friends in the community? How did your friends get into it?
Well, it was mostly me talking to them and telling them about it.
Yeah.
Then, I was using social media by then, and as it started to grow, and I told them about it, so they were excited about that. And then they saw me on, TV shows, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, we want to help too."
Right. That
So it's
really
like-
was cool. They saw
Yeah.
that. Right. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break for a second and actually look at a little clip that was done on TV to give people a little feeling and some visual stuff of some of what you were doing. So we're going to roll that now, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
New tonight, on a cold day like this, a 12-year-old Cambridge boy has taken it upon himself to make sure some neighbors in need get a good meal. Liam Hannon is working to make a difference, one lunch at a time.
As WBZ's Tashani Whitlow discovered, this simple act of kindness is going a long way.
In this time when there seems to be so much negativity, maybe you have to turn to a 12-year-old to lead the way.
Meet 12-year-old Liam Hannon. His mission, to feed as many homeless people as possible.
It's sort of like a way to give people joy, or just to maybe spark something in them that could change them.
So far, Liam's Lunches of Love has fed more than 2,000 of Central Square's most vulnerable.
Hey, Liam! Hey, Liam, what made you decide to start doing this?
I felt there are people right outside my building, which is here's where I live, and that are homeless. So why don't I make them lunch? And then it just took off from there.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It makes me proud as a dad, that I'm able to help raise him that way, but also it's just proud that he is the way he is.
The CNN Young Wonder isn't looking for praise, but reciprocity.
I think the message is to spread positivity within people.
A handwritten message of joy on each bag. His message and star power has spread all over the country. To date, his GoFundMe page has raised more than $44,000, raising more than $17,000 in just one day, with the help of actor Harry Connick Jr. and others. People as far as Kentucky sending special handcrafted bags to help the young philanthropist with his mission to help those in need.
Liam gives me hope for the future of Cambridge, for the state, for the country, and the world.
In Cambridge, Tashani Whitlow, WBZ News.
That was fantastic. Really fantastic. Very exciting. And just a couple things to ask you both a little bit about that. Did you, you found like a really, really, very positive response. I understand there was a reference to the GoFundMe page. Tell me a little bit about what happened with that. Maybe you can say a little bit, Scott, on that.
Okay, well, I think what started originally was, friends and family started originally wanting to donate and stuff like that, and it was just hard for them. So we started a small GoFundMe the first year, and we collected a couple $1,000s, used it for lunches, bought our beginning of our 501c3 that paid for the initial application and stuff like that to get us rolling. And then what happened was GoFundMe came to him and said, "We really like what you're doing. We'd like to feature you." So we're like, "That's cool. That's something that's positive." But you don't really think of GoFundMe as a place where people would get news.
Right.
So Liam went to school. He had a brand new GoFundMe at $0 and went to school and came home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was $17,000.
Whoa.
And we were blown away because I think if I probably say for Liam, I know from his reaction, I think we were both pretty overwhelmed by how many people all of a sudden wanted to just help us do something kind. It wasn't like we were trying to make it a big thing, but then all of a sudden these people were just coming and they want to help, and it was a really overwhelming experience to see that, and then to see it grow to what it is now has been something pretty special. That
Yes. Did you ever believe when you started with those 20 lunches that it was going to get to be as big as it did? Did you have a hint, or did you just figure, no, I'm just going to do this, and
I really thought it was just going to be like, at first I thought it was just going to be the 1 week, but then after handing out those first 20 lunches, I was like, oh, I want to do this again.
Yeah.
And like, I never thought that it would get this big.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just going to be like a small, just like something that I did.
And boy, did it ever catch on. One of the things that both of you talked about in the stuff that I was reading is this idea of paying it forward. And, and I'd like to have you both come on it because it's something I believe very strongly in too. Just how, you mentioned so many times, even in the clip there, about, wanting to spread kindness around, and then you see this GoFundMe, all these people support you, that you didn't expect anything like that. But doesn't it make the point that when people see some kindness, or they receive it, they want to do it, they want to help somebody else too. Just curious, both your reactions to that, because I think it's so important. You both have really been involved in that.
Do you want to talk on this?
Dan goes first there.
Well, yeah. Well, there was a couple times where Liam and I was a single dad for a little while with Liam. And those times that we hit, times where we were worried about money and stuff. And, we had to rely a couple times on services and stuff like that. And to even have that, and also we also are a family that we're now in inclusionary housing in Cambridge, which is for mid-level income people.
Yeah.
So we kind of look at it like somewhere somebody's helping us, whether it's people's taxes, whether it's anything like that. People have helped us, so that was kind of the idea of same thing with service, and we thought about that was to really give back in that way, and we felt it was our responsibility to give back, because somebody had helped us, and we were able to stay in Cambridge. We love Cambridge. It's a great place to live. So it's and it's just been a positive experience. And then to watch how even just what he's been doing, how it's even affected other people. That part of paying it forward. Him seeing that there's kids all over the country now that when CNN had a special, they put it on their station they call CNN 10. Which is a station that gets shown in schools with news items for kids.
Oh, really? Huh.
So within that couple days, we were inundated with probably 5,000 high school and intermediate school kids from all over the country calling my phone, asking to talk to Liam. Yeah.
Wow. You were very busy then.
Though there was a few young ladies I had to come in between the phone call, which was, they called because they thought Liam was cute, wanted to talk to him. So they found out they called his dad's phone, and then they
so funny.
One girl, I think she said, "I just want to go crawl under a rock now," and just hung up. So yeah, it was but kids don't have to deal with that anymore, calling and talking to a parent first, so it's been the cell phones.
I know. Liam, I wanted to ask you this too. It's related to what your dad's saying. A lot of times in my own life and people I've interviewed, I find that there's a real connection between when you give to somebody that you're also simultaneously receiving. And I'm wondering if you had any of that feeling when you were doing this, as you started to know these people, that yes, you're giving them things that are meaningful and trying to have a positive impact and kindness, as you said. What does it do for you inside too?
I think it's mostly like because I'm giving. It's like basically, I'm giving kindness to someone.
Yes.
But I'm also like receiving the pleasure of being kind to someone.
That's very well said. Yes, and I'm sure you. I understand that the people got to know you, and you got to know them, and that still happens. It's got to be little things, I think, like smiles on their face, recognition when you first see them. Oh, there's Liam, you know, and there's so and so, you know, and the person that I know every week I see, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. I also wanted to ask you, are there some things about homeless people that you learned that are very different from what your original conception was of homeless people?
Definitely. My original thought was like they weren't that nice, or like, because like before this happened, I was even like a little bit afraid of them.
That makes sense.
But like
yeah, you don't
now
know.
that I've met most of them, I like know that they're real people. They have their own lives, and they're in different places in their lives, but they're just like they're like the same as everyone.
Very well said. Yeah. Yeah, you just get to know them as they're individual people, and they probably all have different reasons why they're homeless too.
Yeah.
We do. We have a wide range, and I think one of the things that me and Liam have talked about was the fact that we have learned a lot about the culture
Yeah.
of being out on the streets, the different things that the challenges that you wouldn't even think of. Like me as a man, it never even struck me how hard it must be for a woman with like feminine products and stuff like that out on the street.
Absolutely.
Like that's a big expense. Like you don't realize what an expense that is until
Yeah.
you have to. You know, now that we're doing that, we make kits sometimes for the ladies.
Good.
You realize,
that's
like,
great.
wow, this is a lot of, and to just carry them around is a struggle sometimes, because you know not everybody can carry push a shopping
Yeah.
carriage, so they have a smaller bag.
Sure.
So it is a real challenge. But we've learned a lot about that, even in a place like Cambridge where lots of money, lots of compassion.
Yeah.
You know, we are lucky enough to live in a city that our mayor on down, everybody is, at least focused in the right direction to help people. We have the city has its faults just like other cities,
Yeah.
but you will usually get the impression that they're erring on the side of compassion and stuff
Sure.
like that. I can't say enough about our city council. They have been more than supportive for Liam. They've jumped through hoops when we've needed them to.
That's so good to hear that.
Yeah,
that you
they
got back.
we get
really.
food from the food pantries sometimes when we were low on food. Now that we have a good GoFundMe, we don't go to the food pantries because we figure we have the money now kind of backed
Yeah.
up, so we let the food pantries give it to people who need it.
Good.
So it's a nice place to, that we've learned that side of it too. The sort of the nonprofit side of it is a totally different, sort of thing, and we're learning the struggles of nonprofits, and
Yes.
as we become a nonprofit, and the struggles of what they go through of like not knowing whether they're going to have money next year.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
absolutely.
Is that every year they're applying for grants. They don't even know if they're going to
do
get
you get
them.
the grant or do you not?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask both of you a little bit too for our viewers, because what Liam said, what you said about how you initially felt about homeless people, I think that's a lot of people's reaction. So for people who are saying, well, I'm a little scared or I don't know what to do, what advice would you give them from what you've learned about how to approach people who are homeless? And the same from what you've learned too. Because you seem to be a very, very natural about it, which is the best way. But any things you would tell people if they say to you, well, I don't know if I could do that, I'm scared of talking with them?
Well, just like don't make like a big spectacle, like, oh, this person is homeless, why don't I
Calling a lot of attention to
Yeah.
it, making them embarrassed and shamed.
like you could also like if you're scared, maybe like just go up a little bit like quieter
Yeah.
and like try to just be nice to them.
Yes.
Because like once you find out that they are nice, they're a nice person, then
Yeah.
you can like you won't be scared anymore.
Right. Yeah. That's well said. Anything you want to add there, Scott?
Just
from what
that,
you've seen?
just treat them like any other person. That's the easiest way I think we've found is, You know, if you wouldn't, you know, if you saw, you know, maybe you run up to your friend, but we know our friends that we can say, you know, we can yell from across the street, hey, Kevin or Joe or something like that, and we know our friends. So, but even with, that's it, is just remember that they're not a spectacle, they're not on display. Don't overwhelm them. Like, you know, that's one of the things, like when we go out, if we bring kids, we usually try to pair them out in 2 or 3s and you walk up over there because, you know, nobody wants to be sitting there and all of a sudden have 50 people over them.
Right, that's
you know,
too much. Like he said, it's overwhelming.
All you really got to do is just put yourself in that person's shoes for a moment and say, what would I want? How would I want somebody to come up to me? And 99% of the people, if they don't want to talk to you, they will tell you because they're used to it. Because some people try to talk to them during the day, some people don't. One thing I will say though is to try to make sure you always, even if you're not going to talk to them, even in days where you're walking and stuff,
look at them,
say good morning, don't treat them like objects. We actually slept out for a night out in front of our house in Central Square. And we had a big sign that said "Sleep Out for America." It was for the Covenant House. For teen homelessness.
Yeah.
And our own neighbors were walking out of the building and doing the caller hiding as they were walking by us, and it was kind of disconcerting because I was like, I understand when they look at me, and they may just think, okay, you're a person, and I mean you're shelterless or you're on the streets, but to not even look over and see a 12-year-old kid that's laying on not even be able to like focus enough to say, should I see if this person's okay? Oh wow, it's a 12-year-old kid. People just walking right by all night long.
Yeah.
And I think that sunk in that night to him how degrading that is to somebody. It hurt our feelings. We were like really upset at our neighbors.
And you make a good point that one of the things that's important is to put yourself in the place of the person themselves, what they would feel. You know, I want to ask you, as his dad, what do you feel about what this guy is doing?
I mean, you can't be proud of him. I can't even explain how proud I am.
Yeah.
It's, you know, one of the things that he's always been this type of kid, and as well, even during this process, he's been open to learning. And
I hear that.
You know, it's not just like, I'm Liam, I'm going to do this, and everybody else is around. He's open to listening to people. He's open to listening to me when we talk about like, hey, let's try to do this.
You don't mind if we praise you a little bit here? Yeah.
But you know, it makes me feel good.
I bet.
And it makes me feel good that I've seen him grow now, and hopeful. Like one of the things even with him is just meeting other kids that are like him.
Yeah.
So at the CNN Young Wonders.
Oh, I wonder if you could talk about that a little bit in your impressions too.
The other 4 wonders that were there. So the CNN Young Wonders was part of their top 10.
I read about that. Yeah.
So the Young Wonders that were there it was something special about standing back as a parent with 4 other parents and watching a kid talk with 4 other kids about what they could do more and how cool it was that they were each doing something and praising each other and getting each other's Instagrams and this and that so they can do more. And I'm thinking like, wow, like 12 years old, Max was the oldest at 18, he was leaving for his first year at college. And between that age group, I'm thinking like, these are our leaders. These are the people that we need to lead
our future.
Yeah. Whether it's, you know, lead the country, whether it's lead in these areas, it's refreshing to see kids like that.
Yes.
And you know, he's my son, so
Of course, you also said there was one quote about that. What Liam has learned already at his young age is that one person can really make a difference.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. That's something that we've talked about a lot lately as we sit inside and sort of try to reflect on things, and we've talked about how. Like, it really isn't a joke when you say, like, what the power of one small act of kindness can have.
Agreed.
And, you know, you always see those, like, corny videos they have on the internet where one person, like, helps a person up with the groceries and the next person. But it really is like that.
It does work that way.
Even if you just make somebody
people to know.
Feel a little bit better inside, so maybe when they go up to Dunkin' Donuts, they don't yell at the poor mom that is, like, making the coffee as fast as she can.
Right.
And then she's not going to fire her coworker who came in 5 minutes late because she was worrying about her kids, because everybody's in a better mood.
Yes.
And we see that. Our friends on the street, we see a difference already in a lot of people who are like, wow, I want to help, I want to get.
Yeah.
We have people that say, like, I want to get better now because I want to come help with this project.
What did you feel like when you met some of those other people that were doing, you know, really awesome stuff too?
It was like really cool to like like the Young Wonders and the Top 10 Heroes, like all of them are doing such amazing things, and it's
Yeah.
just like, wow, like I can't believe I was up there with them. It was like, wow.
Were you the youngest?
Thanks.
Yeah, youngest this year, not the youngest ever. Youngest
Okay.
I think ever was last year. Was a 6-year-old kid that started a recycling program.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
boy, what a bundle of energy he is.
Yeah. I'm glad you got to meet them, though. I mean, it's a reminder of what you've accomplished. It's also inspiring for you to see people of all different ages that they continue to do this. And I wonder if you think this is something in you that will probably continue, not just with the lunches, but probably through your whole viewpoint in life.
Yeah, I think it will. Yeah, it'll definitely continue like throughout my life. Like, it's just gonna be like, I'll always remember it, even if it like.
And it's just habit now.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. Like we are really in the habit sometimes. Like even when we walk through Central Square, is like somebody needs something. We're like, somebody wants a cup of coffee or something. We tend to, it really is. It's not
It's
like
a whole attitude, isn't it,
it's
about
not only
life?
contagious with other people. It's contagious within yourself. Like you do something, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, cool. Now I can go do this. So we're doing a hunger walk. We're doing
Yeah.
doing a couple different things. So
You've done some events too, haven't you?
yes.
And any of the ones you want to mention too that we haven't talked about?
I would say there's been so many cool things, like
Yeah.
whether it's go talk to businesses, like we had State Street, the financial district, had Liam there to do
Really?
a speech, yeah.
That was
That was there, they teleconferenced it all
How
over the
cool
country.
is that? Yeah.
it's like, because I don't think they told us.
No, they did. They just saw it was Bring Your Kid to Work Day, and they were bringing
Oh,
him.
really?
Yeah, and then we looked up, and there was these 4 big screens with people in it. We're
Yep.
like, whoa, what's that?
Wow.
But he was honored by the Celtics as a
Heroes Among Us.
and get to be honorary captain. Harry Connick Jr. show was pretty cool. Obviously, the CNN thing was really
Yes.
cool. Some other events, though, one that's really special to us is we met this lady, Deb Carberry, and she is this lady up on the North Shore. Her and a couple of her friends, 7 or 8 years ago, want to make care packages to keep in their
5
cars.
of them.
Five ladies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just made them, and
The first year they just made them. They wanted for their cars so that they could it was just like them sitting around having some food. And last year they made 6,000 or 7,000 care packages.
Wow.
And it's now it's a movement. It's like you go up there, it's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe how many people are there. First time we went, we were like, wait, and nobody
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's-
If people want to help you, we're near the end here. I just wanted to say, is there a website that they should use so that we can put it on the screen too for people to see?
it's www.liamslove.com.
Great. And are there any kinds of help you need in particular besides funding?
We like when people make the color bags and send them to us.
All right. Yeah, I heard
that-
about the people
that's-
from Kentucky.
Yeah, we've gotten them from all over the world now. A lady in New
Really?
Jersey, her and her friends sat around one night, had a paint party, and they hand painted them. And we've been
They're
in
like
between.
really large bags
And
too.
we
They're
wanna,
like,
like,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
almost-
The size matters, doesn't it? Yeah.
they're like
But one thing that we like to do is we'd like to challenge people to try it themselves. Like, you don't have to make a bunch. You
Yeah.
can literally make 5 or 6 lunches. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be somebody experiencing homelessness. If you have young kids that you don't want to take
Anybody
out,
in need.
you could have an elderly neighbor. You could have a single
single
mom or a
parent.
single dad that can't make their own lunch because they're trying to get their kids out to work. Or just maybe if you're a kid watching, just your own parents sometimes make them lunch. And
I love this, yeah. You know what I get so much from both of you is this thing that I believe so deeply, that you have a philosophy that says we're all in this thing together, ultimately, and I love that. So
Thank you.
I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been to have you guys on the show, and I want to thank you for what you do and for coming on and telling us. And for the audience, I hope that this is as inspiring for you as it is for me. So again, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you again soon on another sunny side of the street. Take care, everybody.